As I walked into the school on that rainy, gray morning, I felt the weight of the night before lingering on my chest, in my thoughts, and on my shoulders. I was holding back tears as I trudged up the 2 flights of wet, slippery stairs to the 8th grade floor. I put my things in my locker and got what I needed for my first hour of class, English. As I was walking, head down, to my class, I was stopped by Miss Ramlow, my reading teacher. "Hey, Addie, everything okay?" I looked up at her. Was I really that easy to read? I thought I was hiding it well, I thought to myself. As I looked up at her, I realized how hard it was to continue to hold back the built-up tears. I started to cry. "I'm fine," I said. Her face dropped as she reached out to hug me and bring me out of the view of the other students. I heard the last bell ring out loudly through the hallways and classrooms. It hurt my already pounding head, but I ignored it. The busy hallway began to thin out as people closed their classroom doors and students took their seats. Miss Ramlow peeked into the classroom next door, my English class, and told the teacher I was with her and would be over shortly. I dreaded having to walk in the class full of students after that. She walked back towards me. "Hey girl, what's going on?" I didn't respond. I wiped my face on the sleeve of my light gray sweatshirt. I looked down at the wet tear spots that were left behind. "I just had a bad night." She hugged me again. "Okay, do you want to come by after school?" I agreed and took a few deep breaths before walking to my class. That day after school, I sat behind her desk and cried as I told her my parents were getting a divorce. She comforted me and assured me it would all be okay. I knew thoughts and questions of curiosity over what could have happened filled her head, but she never asked me to say anything I didn't feel like saying out loud. She talked about my new bedroom that I would get and the new bedding and decorations I would buy to fill my new room. She helped distract me and see the bright side of things. She helped me look at things with a new perspective. Miss Remmel was so much more than a teacher. She cared about all her students inside and outside of the classroom. She supported us in our athletics, activities, and personal lives. She made learning fun, like the time we split up in teams for a battle of the Avengers, or when we finished reading The Outsiders and we celebrated with movie, Pepsi, and chocolate cupcakes. Years after we left her classroom, she still supports us. She helped me realize I wanted to be a teacher. She taught me that being a teacher was more than standing in front of a classroom and teaching. She showed me just how rewarding it could be. As I left her classroom, I was feeling better, relieved to get everything off my chest, yet dread still lingered heavily as I thought about going home. I walked home next to my friends, but I didn't hear a single thing they talked about. Instead, I was thinking back on some of my teachers from the past and the positive impact they left on my life and my education, and about how their kindness and love shaped my future. As I think back, a flood of teachers comes to my mind. My first grade teacher, Miss Geary, who let me stay in her classroom one morning after my mom and I got into a car accident before school. She helped to distract me and let me draw on the whiteboard all morning long. Still to this day, I see Miss Geary and keep in touch with her. My fourth grade teacher, Miss Wonderland, who introduced me to books with her large classroom library and sparked a lifelong love for reading into me. Every time I make it back to my hometown, I stop by her classroom to say hi. Miss Ramlow, who was not only my 8th grade teacher, but my 5th and 7th grade teacher as well. She went above and beyond for every one of us. She was always there when someone needed. She cared that each of her students did well in school and made sure every student had an equal opportunity. I had a handful of great teachers then, but since then I've had even more life-changing teachers. My teacher and high school cheer coach, Miss Maxwell, who pushed me to be the best version of myself and let me sit in her classroom for lunch every day when I didn't want to face the lunchroom. My 11th and 12th grade history teacher, Miss Bischoff, who was the most kind and caring woman I ever met, who created real relationships with her students and reminded me of how rewarding and fulfilling teaching could be. Lastly, my mom, also known as Mrs. Shadone, my principal throughout grade school and the one person who's taught me more than anyone else. She has shown me what it means to be a loving and caring educator and has guided me on this journey to becoming a teacher. She taught me that just one quality, kind-hearted teacher could change a student's life forever, and she helped me realize that was something I was going to do someday.